Welcome to Cardium, the podcast that gets to the heart of travel healthcare and asks, what's your why? With each episode, we explore the topics and issues that impact healthcare professionals in the fields of nursing and allied health. Now, here are your hosts, Sunny and Matt from RES Medical.
Welcome to Cardium. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you for being part of the Cardium family. If you're a new listener, thanks for stopping by. We hope you enjoy the podcast, and we would love for you to subscribe so you can enjoy future podcasts. Hello, Matt. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here too. Well, Matt, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Have you had a memorable vacation, like a road trip?
All the vacations have been memorable. One of the most recent ones was a trip with my family to South Dakota to Mount Rushmore, the classic family vacation. It was a lot of fun.
And sometimes it can be tough being on a road trip.
Oh yeah. Our road trip, I think we did 5 days, and so it was in the car for 5 days and doing a lot of stuff, a lot of hiking and seeing the sights, doing the typical touristy stuff. But I'll tell you, by the time we got back, we were worn out. I mean, 5 days was a wear out. It was a lot of fun, though.
Well, can you imagine being on a road trip with the same people for 13 weeks?
I love my family. But 13 weeks would be a bit. Yeah, it'd be a bit much.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine being with my family too. Well, today we will be discussing traveling pairs. And our guests today are Nicole Brucker and Maggie Chapman, and they will be discussing how it is to be traveling as a pair. Nicole Brucker is an RN with a background in cardiothoracic and lung transplant step down. Growing up in a military family, she's traveled for most of her life. She loves running, hiking, climbing, thrifting, and finding live music wherever she lands. Travel also means she gets to be a foodie, which she says is why she runs. Maggie Chapman is an RN with primarily CVICU and telemetry experience. She's 3 years into her nursing career, and she is currently on her second travel assignment in Portland, Maine with Nicole. She's Texas-born and raised and loves the outdoors. Maggie and Nicole, welcome to Cardium, the podcast that gets to the heart of healthcare travel. How did you get into travel, and how did you decide to travel together?
So I think we both wanted to do travel nursing from the get-go, and we met in nursing school about 4 years ago. We always are not sure when the first time we met, but we were working out at the gym, and we just were talking about how we both wanted to travel eventually, and we thought, oh, how cool would it be if we traveled together? We could get our experience in and then hit the road, and then we ended up moving to Dallas, and 2 years after graduating, we started traveling together.
Yeah, we actually were, of course, we wanted to travel to Hawaii and, all the dreamy places, and we're over here in hot Texas in December, and we get a call saying, hey, do you guys want to go to Connecticut in the winter?
Perfect.
And I text Maggie, and I'm like, hey, do you want to go whale watching in January? This is kind of how it all started.
Love it. So you guys obviously have plans to continue to travel, at least for a little bit in your career. So let's come to the end of an assignment. Where do you agree that you want to travel together? What's the deciding vote?
Honestly, I feel like there really is no deciding vote. We just got really good experience our first travel assignment. We went to Yale, and then Maggie turned to me and she goes, hey, I've always had this burning desire to go to Maine in the summer. So I said, okay, let's go to Maine. And we packed up our stuff and moved again. But I guess it's really we just kind of tell each other where we kind of have where we want to go hiking, if we want to be warm or cold, and there really hasn't been a no yet. But yeah, we want to do this for quite a bit of time,
That's
until one of us settles down, but hopefully that doesn't happen soon.
Yeah, you have a lot of options out there. So if there's a bucket list of places, you could do this for quite a long time.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, though, that you haven't had like a hard pass, and saying, hey, no, I don't want to really go that route. So there's not a lot of...
Well, once it becomes winter, we're getting out of the Northeast. We're like, warmth for the winter. That's our number one goal.
I am not tunneling out of my house.
No, I've actually had to dig my car out, like the tires with snow because we didn't prepare for a shovel.
Oh my god!
We were like shoveling my car out in like 5 feet of snow.
Yeah, a little bit different than Dallas.
Yes. Yes.
All the snow that we get in Dallas.
Exactly.
Total 180.
Oh, well, do you keep track of where you go? Like, keep like some type of scrapbook or stickers, or how do you keep track of where you go?
Last assignment, we printed off all our photos and made photo albums. So we think it would be a cool tradition to do that every assignment, and that way we have a physical copy of all of our memories. And it's always just like random pictures of a meal we ate or a hike we took. And there's limited pictures of us because there's only 2 of us, so all of our pictures are selfies or random strangers taking our pics, and they're terrible, like one eye is cut out or just Nicole in my arm. So it's mostly just random pictures of our adventures, but it's kind of sappy, but it makes me feel happy about all
It's
our
real. It's real.
journeys.
That's what it's about.
Mhm.
Something that you'll remember, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who knows if Facebook will be around for all my albums or whatever, so.
Do you have like any knickknacks though, or anything in like particular that you keep with you?
I mean, as far as we buy things. That's where it gets us in trouble. Last assignment, we were shoving things in my car. But I mean, we buy something for just a little thing. But I mean, I guess it's hard to get little knickknacks too when we share a car.
Yeah.
So we share a little Nissan Sentra. It's not even a crossover or a truck or anything like that. It's a little Nissan Sentra.
Wow.
And so we have very limited space in there.
The last time we drove up here, there was no room in the passenger seat. So Nicole's a little bit shorter than me, enough for me to say, okay, you get to sit there and I get to drive. And I decided to collect hats while we've been traveling. So Nicole had 3 hats on her head and my bridesmaid's dress across her lap, and she was all tucked into a little ball for 6 hours from Connecticut to Maine. So we were pretty jam-packed in that little Sentra.
I guess you had to do a lot of stretching when you got out of that car.
The sad thing is I didn't. My feet went straight still. I'm so short.
Oh.
So you guys are loving it, and you're doing all sorts of fun stuff when you're not working. Are there times when you guys have conflict?
Honestly, surprisingly, we really haven't had really any conflict. We kind of balance each other out pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a morning person, she's a night person, and we both speak our mind very easily. So we know how to tell each other, hey, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to walk by myself to the gym if you want to go to a coffee shop. So, I mean, when we have our little irritations or we just need some time for ourselves, we don't care about telling each other.
We don't take it personally.
No. We're together basically 24/7, and so she's literally my sister, and I have no problem telling my younger sister how I feel. So it's been good so far.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are very. The communication is key to that. It sounds like, being together 24/7, you just have to be honest with each other. I'm going to the gym. You do what you got to do, but I'm going to walk to the gym or drive to the gym. It sounds like communication is the key with that.
Absolutely. That's exactly how it pretty much goes down. And I think it also helps that we live kind of similarly, where when we work multiple shifts in a row, we're totally cool with the apartment being a little bit like a tornado hit it, a little messy. And then on our days off, we love to just spend a couple hours cleaning up our mess. So having the same living habits too makes it so much easier, because I'm sure if I was super type A about that and she wasn't, it would bother me. But I think that we're on the same page too.
Yeah.
It helps a lot. So yeah, I mean, in this shift we have the same shifts. We share a car. mean, we are actually together 24/7. So people think that we might kill each other, but it's actually complemented each other very well.
Well, tell me how
It's only made us stronger.
Oh, good. Tell me how it helps too, because I would imagine if you're going into a new environment as a traveler or even a new location, if you're doing it solo, that could put a lot of stress on you. But doing it together, I can imagine you can be each other's sounding board. Are there times where you're like, gosh, I'm really, really stressed out, or I had a really tough patient case, or maybe there might have been a conflict on the floor and you were able to just kind of help work it out where you didn't have to take it back to work? How does that help?
Oh yeah, 100%. Usually we kind of, the good thing about having known each other a little bit is that we kind of know how we deal with things too. So, like, for example, like I know like when Maggie gets stressed, like she'll talk about it right away. She knows that if I'm stressed, she just needs to give me like 20 minutes of just don't talk to me. And so there have been times, when it's hard when you don't know anyone, especially in like, the nursing profession or another healthcare profession, because it's stressful. It's hard. There are things that we see, there are things that we do that a lot of people just don't understand. So it's a little different. We used to vent to our parents, but there are people that they just don't understand either the terminology or they just don't understand kind of how it is. So it's nice to have someone who's there that maybe actually saw it or they've been through it before to just listen or give me actual advice that they know. So that's kind of been helpful. And since we work on the same floor this go around, if there's something that she doesn't know, she usually just comes to me. It's just like, hey, I don't know if this is a dumb question, but can you just come take a look at this?
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of nice, especially since we have different backgrounds. We can kind of ask each other for help. So that's actually been one of the best things about traveling with not only a friend, but someone who is and like knows what I go through every day.
That's a real advantage. It almost advantages you guys to travel as a pair, to be able to first person, account of what would you do and what help answer this question. So many travelers that we have spoke with in the past, when they're there by themselves, they don't have that sounding board. They're relying on the permanent personnel at the facility to be that sounding board, and that's hard to walk, even a foot in each other's shoes. So that's great for you guys. It really is a travel advantage to you.
Yeah. It's like the buddy system.
Exactly. We walk into work together and they're like, oh, here they are. And we're just like somehow always matching too. I don't know how.
Well, when two people travel, you got twice the load. You said you had a Nissan Sentra. So how do you decide what to take?
Honestly, it was a really hard decision because my lease was ending too. So I was trying to pack up my lease at the time that I was throwing everything away. But so we came over to each other's apartments, and thank God for our mothers, angels. They helped us. They're like, okay, you guys are going in winter. You can fit maybe 3 suitcases in your car with everything else that you have. So I had 1 suitcase for all my clothes, and then I had 1 suitcase for all my shoes, and then honestly, we got really lucky. When we packed my car the morning of, but the plan was for us to go home after every assignment to exchange clothes, and that did not happen. So we actually bought stuff, but then we also just we were able to go home and just kind of exchange clothes too. We changed from storage units, changed them from, our parents' house. And so we just we don't bring everything with us. We kind of go for the seasons.
That's smart. That is very smart. Having a storage unit, exchanging for the seasons, and being girls, we got a lot of shoes, so you got to change your seasonal shoes, right?
Exactly. I need my brown ones, my black ones, my boots, my sandals.
Yeah. And you haven't been to Connecticut. You had to get some snow, apparel, right?
Oh yeah, I bought a parka, snow boots. I showed up and it was 40 degrees in a parka, snow boots, a beanie, gloves. Definitely didn't fit in. I feel like I totally overpacked for the first assignment though. And I feel like even for this one, I've overpacked. So I'm really excited to go home and kind of decrease how much stuff I have, because I don't use it all. Really, feel like I wear 3 outfits in different combinations over and over again. So I think downsizing is going to be nice for the next assignment.
Nice.
I feel like I overpacked.
Yeah, it really sounds like you guys are developing your system as you go, and especially seasonality wise and where you go and all that stuff. It sounds like you're mastering that as the assignments start to pile up. So good for you. Kind of along those same lines. Do you guys have rules between you that you say this is the unwritten or written rule of either what to pack or how to go about the looking at future assignments or current assignments? Are there rules that you guys steadfast stick by?
I would think we really don't have a rule with packing. I think the biggest rule that we have is we actually decided our first assignment, we said that we would never go to, every time we go out to eat or we go to a restaurant or we just go out in general, we always sit at the bar. And we've actually made it's actually how we've met like our good group of friends here that we hang out with. They were just sitting right next to us and they heard that we were traveling. And so we've become like good friends with them. And then, and we just like talking. So it's easier because we talk to each other all the time. And even though I love her, like I already know, like we can only tell each other so much. So everywhere we go, we'll actually wait like for a bar table. They're like, oh, we have a 4-top over here. And we're like, no, can we sit at the bar, please? So that's kind of like just like an unwritten rule that we have between each other with all of our assignments, kind of.
I think that's amazing because you really get to know the people, because it's the people of the town that tends to sit at the bars, right? And so you get to know the culture, you get to meet a lot of friends, so you just never know who you're going to meet. So I think that's amazing.
And again, it sounds like you guys are making the most of your assignment. It's not all about the other fun stuff, but making it the holistic approach to the assignment. It's great when you're at the facility or hospital you're at, you're meeting new people, you're experiencing new things, seeing different places, learning that you don't bring all the snow gear that you necessarily might think you need up to Connecticut. So yeah, you guys are learning. I love it. It's a great experience.
So tell me, what is probably the most unique or best experiences that you can think of so far in your travels?
I feel like some of our best experiences have happened on accident, which is, I guess, not surprising. Just booking impromptu trips to New York and taking the train and public transit is new for us. So I think those memories are my favorite so far, just the random things we've decided to do in each state.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that when we went to New York, we was a night shift randomly, and we like at 3 a.m. we're like, let's just go to New York tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
And we booked a train ticket and we left. We went home and packed and rushed to the train. And then, for example, today we got off of a night shift. We slept. We are here with y'all now, and then we're gonna go drive to Baxter National Park and we're gonna go hike Katahdin.
Oh, nice.
Like mountain
that is
here.
Amazing.
So we're kind of yes people.
Yeah.
We just kind of like to do, and we kind of wing it. That's kind of
We love to wing
motto.
it.
Yeah, and see what life presents you, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, where do you want to go next?
We've actually been debating this. Warmth, somewhere warm. I think Arizona would be so awesome. There's so much to do.
Yes.
The weather's really nice during the time that we would be leaving. But we also have one of our best friends decided to travel nurse too, a little bit after us, and she just got to Denver.
Oh,
And
Denver's nice.
so we're like seeing if maybe we could link up and do like a little assignment together. But definitely go south. And then I know we have our hearts set on Hawaii in the winter.
Yeah.
I love Arizona too, though. Sedona, I can see you both enjoying Sedona.
I love Sedona. I have a lot of family in Arizona, so it'd kind of be nice to go back home too. She's already met half my family, so
I'm part of the family.
It's kind of nice. But we know that in the end we'd love to do something kind of along the lines too of even like Mercy Ship. That's what we've always kind of said is going to be our last hurrah before one of us ends. So everything is kind of like working up to that too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
I like how you guys have a plan laid out, but you're still open to be, thinking of new opportunities maybe you haven't thought of before. So if an opportunity comes up and it sounds exciting and you haven't been there before, and you're flexible enough that you can make that decision and go for it. And it being a travel assignment, you're there for a bit, make the best of it, meet some new people, and then move on. It's a pretty fun life.
Oh yeah, we trust our recruiter with all of our heart. She was the one who told us to go to Connecticut, and we actually surprisingly loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Really?
Whenever she gives us a recommendation, we're like, okay, it's like, let's go.
She hasn't steered us wrong.
That's great. That's good. We love hearing those type of stories, because we know the recruiters are key to a successful travel assignment. So it sounds like you guys are having a really good experience there. So I know you guys need to go hiking. So I've got one more question for you, and I think Sunny might have one for you as well. There's probably other people listening to this podcast that are traveling pairs that are thinking or thinking about traveling. If you had to give your best piece of advice for people ready to try to make the plunge into traveling pairs, what would that be?
Just do it. There's never a good time. Right before we left for this assignment, I was really doubtful because I was getting my tonsils out, and there was a whole bunch of things that I felt like I just wasn't the right time to do it. So there's never really a perfect time. And if you just kind of accept the nomadic lifestyle and just be patient and know that it's not perfect, there's a lot of hang-ups, but if you can make jokes out of it, it's really enjoyable, and it teaches you so much about yourself, being thrown into environments and having, a couple days of orientation, and you're learning so much. So not only are you seeing parts of the country that you want to see, but you're also, I think I'm becoming a better nurse from it. So, I mean, if you had any thoughts about doing it, I think you should just take the plunge and do it.
Awesome.
Sponsor ad, Nike. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Should get sponsored. Give me some Nike scrubs.
Yeah, this is not an audition, but I like it. I mean, we can submit it. That's fine. Any other advice?
Thanks for stealing my answer, Maggie. That was a good one. But no, I agree. But I guess if there's anything else, if you want anything more like along the lines of if you ever go to a travel assignment too, don't be afraid to ask. I mean, you're gonna have trouble, finding things, knowing the providers, meeting the other nurses. But there are good people everywhere you go. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Everywhere is a new situation. You might have done the procedure 100 times at another hospital. It might have been done one way, but every single place is different. So just don't be afraid to ask the dumb questions and laugh a little. Because like Maggie said, there's not going to be a perfect assignment. We've had our fair share of hang-ups. We actually just give a soft smile and a giggle and just nod and just think, okay, everything's going to be okay.
That's
I
great
think
advice.
that's probably the best advice, Nicole, because just taking the time to not feel scared to ask questions while you're there, so that way you can still give great care. Because it's very intimidating going up to new faces and saying, hey, I'm desperate right now. I don't know where anything is. I don't know y'all's protocol on this. I'm concerned about this patient, but I don't know who to call. And so speaking up and feeling comfortable to just ask for help is so important. So that's really good advice.
Yeah, and I think that's important, for anyone who's wanting to seek that mobile lifestyle, is just to basically be able to say, I need help, and I need to be able to ask those questions, because if you can't, then you maybe need to rethink that decision. But I love what you said, Nicole, about saying or giving a soft smile. Because that's important too, because sometimes you just have to swallow it and just give that soft smile and move forward. Because at the end of the day, don't let your professional credibility be threatened because of a bad moment, right? So,
Yeah.
and I think you guys are both examples of what it is to just smile and let life just kind of lead you into wonderful adventures. I mean, you guys are both just make me happy and smile. I think Matt is just, I never see this grumpy guy smile so much as I do today. You guys just make him giggle.
Well, good.
If I can
I'm
say
so
giggle.
glad to hear that.
It's not very nice nor accurate, but it's been a pleasure having
just
you guys
kidding.
on. It really has.
We're really excited to be here.
Traveling pairs
Honestly, we
are
love podcasts. That's how we got across. That's how we stayed
Yeah.
awake from our like driving from Texas to Connecticut and then Connecticut to Maine. Yeah, we
Well, now you can
listen
add a
to
new
lot of
one.
podcasts. I know,
Oh
we're
my
gonna hear
God.
ourselves.
I don't want to hear my voice.
and you're
Sounds
auditioning for
great.
commercials, so this is working out really well.
I know.
Traveling pairs and Nike representatives. Perfect.
All right. Well, part of what we do here at Cardium is, we talk about the heart of healthcare, and part of that is really knowing what your purpose is and knowing what your why is. And so at the end of each of our episode, we ask our guests, what's your why? So I'm asking both of you, what's your why? And either Nicole or Maggie, you can jump in as to who wants to go first. And you're both pointing at each other. Our listeners can't see this.
Okay, I'll go first. So my why is always has been my grandma. My choice in careers have changed since I was little. And when my grandma got diagnosed with Alzheimer's, that's kind of when I thought I wanted to be a doctor. And then I realized I loved actually taking care of her. And I love talking. And so I can actually sit in the patient's room if I really want to and just talk with them and comfort them. And so really my grandma is my why. It's actually evolved into other members of my family. Like my dad got sick. And so it's really just seeing those people that are closest to you and taking that not sympathy, but taking, if it was your family member and just going to work with that mindset. You have your confused patients, you have those patients where you're going to roll your eyes, but I always just think of the people that are closest to me I've taken care of, and for that person it was my grandma. She's the reason why I came in here. So I would definitely say it was my well of that. She's the reason why I love what I do, and I will always love what I do.
That's awesome.
Great why.
That's beautiful.
That was a good one, Nicole. I think my why, I have a couple. My dad's a nurse, so I always grew up hearing, the crazy stories at dinner and seeing the long hours he put in, and also seeing the time he could have with us with his days off. And then he went back to school to be a CRNA, and he went back when I was in middle school, I believe. And just seeing him push to his dream and seeing all the doors that nursing can open for someone really inspired me. I definitely look up to my dad. He's definitely someone I call and vent to, cry to on my worst days of work. So I think partially just growing up with my dad and seeing just what a great nurse and care he provides to people in need, and that's been part of my why. And then also I've always wanted a job and career where I'm hands-on and I feel like I'm helping others firsthand, and I love days whenever I go home and I really feel in my heart that I made a difference for someone, or I caught something, or even saved someone's life. It's really important for me, and yeah, it makes me happy to help others. And I feel like being on the front lines in the hospitals and starting this career has just taught me so much about myself and what's important in life. Oh my gosh, I feel life is so much easier now, just living.
It's a new experience every day. Mm-hmm. It's never the same day twice.
Never the same. We get some crazy days, but
those are great whys, you guys. Those are great. Thank you.
Those are amazing. And thank you. And thanks for joining us today. And we really appreciate it. And thanks for all you do.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys. Well, that's going to wrap up today's podcast. We'd love to hear from you, so please drop us a review. Let us know your thoughts on today's topic or anything else you'd like to discuss.
You've been listening to Cardium from Arias Medical with your hosts, Sunny and Matt. We're the podcast that gets to the heart of travel healthcare. To subscribe, access show notes, or to learn more, visit cardiumpodcast.com. CARDIUM podcast.com. Or wherever you're listening, be sure to rate us, review, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.